Hello everyone, I'm Ronald Mehta and welcome back to marketing91.com. We provide management and marketing training to students and professionals worldwide through our courses, videos and community. This video is part of our comprehensive take on the gamut of human resource management. Let's start with the gamut of trade union. A trade union is a group of employees who voluntarily band together to advance their collective rights and interests. They help in fostering positive interaction between the employer and the employees. The fundamental tenet of the labor movement is strength lies in unity. Let's look at a case study of Toyota and their trade unions. Well, Toyota accepts to fully accede to the labor union's demand for pay increases. Despite the fact there is a worldwide supply shortage in the automotive sector, Tata Motors decided to completely satisfy the pay and bonus demands made by its labor union. Toyota president informed the union of the decision at the third session of discussion amongst union members and the management. Terms as shunto, Japanese term, salary negotiations are taking place as a result of the Prime Minister's demand for pay increase of over 3% from businesses whose revenues have returned to levels pre-pandemic in nature. Moving forward, the wage level was nearly the same as the year before and the labor union for Toyota had requested compensation increases depending on the nature of work and the position of the employees. Well, the yearly bonus amount requested by the union was to be increased by 0.9 months from the previous year to 6.9 months of pay. The pandemic created a supply bottleneck in the automotive sector, and Toyota last month pared back its worldwide production target for March 2022 from about 9 million vehicles originally stated to about 8.5 million vehicles. Moving on to another case study of the situation of trade unions in Ukraine. The Ukrainian labor movement is vehemently opposed to the new law because it threatens democracy, collective bargaining and labor rights. Up to 70% of workers in Ukraine are now denied the right to collective bargaining and other labor safeguards under the new legislation. Several trade unions in Ukraine are mobilizing to challenge the new law in court on a global scale because they are outraged by this attempt to curtail the interest of employees in Ukraine. Employees at business and organizations with fewer than 250 employees are impacted by this law, which was adopted on July 17th and came into effect on August 19, 2022. As stated earlier, experts' estimate indicate that the new law will have an effect on about 70% of the nation's workforce. Moving forward, individual contracts will serve as a primary tool used by the new law to regulate labor relations between workers and employers in small and medium-sized businesses. In essence, unions no longer have the legal ability to oppose workplace terminations, and the collective agreements they drafted will no longer be valid. The dread of participating in union or any other independent activities will increase as a result of this move, which allows for arbitrary findings. The measure is a component of a larger plan to reduce regulation and provide fewer rights for workers in Ukraine. Now moving on to the role of trade unions in a general nature. First, the element of countervailing power. In addition to working to increase member benefits, trade unions also work to stop exploitation. They make sure that the economic growth serves as a tool rather than an objective in itself for advancing humankind. Next, security and harmony in the industrial sector. Conflicts and discontent between employees and employers can be prevented with the aid of trade unions. They end pointless fights. In actuality, the safety of the industrial economy and industrial harmony is dependent on the development of powerful trade unions. Next, worker welfare. All unions have the well-being of the members as their first and most important duty. Moving on, the other role of encouraging economic growth in the country. By aiding in the hiring and selection of workers, by making it possible for industrial issues to be settled rationally rather than randomly and chaotically. By supporting societal adaptations, workforce members must adapt to the changing work circumstances, norms and directives, and by developing a dedicated workforce for industry. Now moving on to the objectives of trade unions. Let's start with the first one, that is to ensure the employees have improved working circumstances, to ensure that the company's profits go towards paying the bonus towards the staff and workers, to oppose management strategies like automation and rationalization, although they work in the favor of the management, but the whole idea is to not diminish employment and fire workers or lay them off. To ensure employee well-being by collective agreements that advantage all workers, to defend the objectives of the workforce by actively participating in administration, to ensure the workers' social welfare, and to ensure organizational development, leadership and stability, and finally to defend employees from being taken advantage of and victimized by the employer, which is the situation in many countries. Moving on to the functions of trade unions. First, the element of safety and security, as we've been talking about. Workers are safeguarded by trade unions from all forms of oppression on the side of business and political groups. A union offers defense against unethical business activities. Next, a suitable quality of living. In order to guarantee the employees have a favorable level of life, unions struggle to ensure for them fair salaries, suitable workplace conditions, and welfare amenities including healthcare and social security. Next, grievance redressal. A trade union represents workers, both individual and group complaints to the employer. Then comes the gamut of collective bargaining, which is another video in our series for the HRM course. A trade union negotiates and bargains with the management to settle terms and conditions of employment. Then comes the element of participation. Trade unions fight for a greater voice for employees in the decision-making process over issues that directly affect their interest. Union work to bring democracy to the workplace as a result. Next, protest. To advance worker demands, unions plan protests such as strikes, rallies, and other types of protest, which should ideally be peaceful in nature. Then comes the gamut of education. The education of employees and their families is a common concern for labor unions. Workers are made aware of the obligations and rights through unions, and as well as the necessity of technological advancements. Next, welfare and leisure. Several unions offer their members amenities for athletics, relaxation, as well as other forms of welfare. At number 9 is they lobby for favorable laws. Trade unions seek to win legal protection for their employees from the government through interacting and building relationship with political parties and their leaders. The element of lobbying is very important for them. Next, counsel. On policies and practices relating to human resource, a trade union may counsel and inform management. And finally, the fear of unemployment. In order to foster communication and collaboration between both the employer and employees, trade unions act as a bridge between the two groups, which could finally take care of the gamut of unemployment. Finally, to conclude, to this day, there are trade unions for all types of workers, including government personnel, bankers, and other white collars in every country. Trade unions are essential for maintaining industrial harmony and playing a constructive role in the development of the industry. Moreover, the government needs the assistance of the trade unions to carry out its industrial and economic plans. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on trade union. These are the list of sources and links referred to for our content in the video. Thank you and stay tuned for more videos.